All right, why don't we jump right into our first topic of the day. Yesterday, Intel announced their Core i9 11980HK. Let's dissect that that processor code a little bit here. So it's an i9, which means it's at the top of their stack. It's got an 11, which means it is 11th gen. It has a K in it, which means it is overclockable. It is H, which means it is part of their H series. So those are their high-powered mobile chips. And it has a 980 in it, which means it's faster than a something with a lower numbers.
It's like
there.
a really good wine pairing to a 980 Ti.
They call it the world's best gaming laptop processor, and it's based on their 10 nanometer superfin process and has 8 cores with a max frequency of 5 gigahertz. Intel promises a 19% generation over generation multi-threaded improvement, which I could actually see coming. And PCI Express Gen 4 makes an appearance. Apparently it is really fast, with Intel including these graphs. Let's go ahead and, do I have...
We all know not to trust, to be very clear before we move forward.
Hold on a second. There's the one I was looking for. Okay. Well, hold on a second. Now, Luke.
Are you gonna naysay this? Are you gonna naysay this?
Wait.
For real?
Wait. I think we can trust that these graphs are what Intel believes.
Oh, okay. That's pretty nice wording. I like that. That's good.
But also, in all seriousness, I think that there is a solid chance that Intel knew the correct way to benchmark these games.
Okay.
I mean, they have very qualified people there that are easily able to come up with games and settings and benchmark runs that would be indicative of the performance of their solution versus someone else's solution. I think we can all agree that they're capable of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so there you have it then, Luke. I think Intel believes that these numbers are right, and I think Intel is capable of running benchmarks. Where we run into trouble is that Intel is a company made up of many, many people. And sometimes in between engineering and accounting and marketing, things get a little bit lost in the mix. With that said, we don't really have any reason to believe that the Core i9 11980HK will not be a very high performance CPU. So back to these numbers for a little bit here. Some of these games don't look that important. I mean, if I was to choose a mobile CPU based on Far Cry New Dawn at this point, I'd say I'm a little bit behind in the times. But I mean, Rainbow Six Siege, okay. Rainbow Six Siege is in there.
Rainbow Six Siege is in there. That's a bit. So something I did was I opened up Twitch and I went to the highest viewed categories because I was like, that's what a lot of people are going to care about. It's not the be all end all. Obviously, we've talked about that before, but it's pretty indicative of what people care about. There are a lot of things at the top that aren't going to, I mean, League of Legends, Minecraft, Counter-Strike, Valorant. These are all games that are extremely easy to run. Fortnite, but you know, there's maybe some other games they could have tested. I know it's a multiplayer game, but they're Intel, so they probably could have figured something out. Testing, as much as I'm not necessarily a fan of it, but Call of Duty Warzone is huge and has been huge for a long time. They didn't do Apex or Warzone, which is interesting to me.
So one thing that's notable here too is that they aren't using the exact same system. That's something that actually makes benchmarking anything about laptops extremely difficult, because with a desktop, you can do as apples to apples a comparison as possible. AMD and Intel are basically at feature parity at this point. So PCI Express Gen 4, they both use DDR4 memory. You know, they both use, you know, they've got, okay, so yeah, actually you can get high-speed I/O on both of them. So, you know, M.2 NVMe drives, Thunderbolt 3. I don't think I've seen Thunderbolt 4 on desktop yet, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But on mobile, you can't even do something as simple as make sure that both solutions are cooled properly. And on a desktop, you can kind of count on any of the A-tier motherboard manufacturers, Asus, Gigabyte, MSI, ASRock. You can count on them to deliver reasonably close performance to each other. So the motherboard kind of comes out of the equation as long as it's got high quality traces, high quality VRM, so the processor can boost and the memory can run at full speed and all of that good stuff. So you can really compare. But here you can see, so they're using, for the Core i9 versus Ryzen 9 comparison,
in-house.
The Intel one was tested in a pre-production OEM system with RTX 3080, maximum GFX power 155 watts. And then the Ryzen 9 was tested in a Lenovo Legion R9000K with an RTX 3080 with a maximum graphics power of 165 watts. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't we seen this before where Intel called shenanigans on AMD something something, and then they used Lenovo systems to test the AMD processors, and then the Lenovo systems were found to not perform as well as other ones with those particular AMD processors? Is that ringing a bell for anyone else?
Yeah, just a little bit.
So I don't know. On the surface, it seems like Intel has done their due diligence, actually choosing a design that gives more graphics power than the one that they're using. But we are going to have to actually wait for the independent reviews on this one before we declare the 11980HK a big winner.
As is always true, to be fair.
Now, we would love to tell you guys if these were actually good or not, but unfortunately, the press samples got stuck in customs, so no one in the media has had a proper hands-on yet. So I want to just give a big thank you to Intel Corporate for not pushing the embargo back a week to give us some time to test these before they come out. Alex put in some of his thoughts. So this was added to the doc by Alex Clark, just saying Intel's gotten really good at maximizing the performance of hot chips. Okay, that's one way of, that's very charitable.
That's a very nice way of saying that.
So if 10 nanometer gives them some more headroom, these chips could be blisteringly fast. We checked out the Alienware M17R4 recently with the Core i9 10980HK, and it was the fastest gaming laptop we've tested. So it's likely Intel's the new mobile gaming king, but battery life is a major concern, and it wasn't mentioned once in the slides. And given that this is an area that Intel needs to make up even more ground than performance, it's a little bit disconcerting. And the M17R4 had just 2 hours of battery life. Comparable AMD laptops are getting as much as double that. So yeah, for big chonker, desktop replacement machines, these chips could be awesome. But to take on something like the Asus G14, battery life is really important, and this doesn't, we can't say it's going to be bad, but Intel hasn't said it's going to be good. And I don't know, Luke, do you think when you attend a press conference and you watch the slide deck, generally speaking, if there's anything that can even sort of be spun as positive, they try to include that?
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's not really a very good sign.
I have never been, and I at this point, I think will never, ever be on board with the 2 hour battery life chonker desktop replacement laptops. It seems so weird to me.
Yeah, I did daily drive one for quite a while. Do you remember that MSI 15-inch one that I used to have way back in the day? I think it was I want to say a GX 660. Let me see if I can find
I remember
this
something
thing.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. All right, here, hold on a second. Let me do the display capture. Here it is. Look at that tiny little trackpad there. And this was a thick, this was a pretty thick boy. You can kind of tell at the back of the device here. I can't really see any great pictures of it. I'll be honest with you, Luke. The only reason that I used that laptop was because MSI gave it to me. I was at NCIX and I co-hosted this overclocking event or something that they did. And because of being at NCIX, they couldn't pay me or something to do it, even though it was on my own time. And so they were like, here, how about we set you up with a laptop? And I was like, oh yeah, cool. That sounds amazing. And then I got this one and I was like,
oh,
well, it's better than anything else you guys make. So thanks. Okay, look, MSI at that time did not have thin and light laptops figured out. Not
Right.
even close. Like, you got to remember, this laptop came out back in what, 2012 maybe? I actually can't even find a date. 2010. This article rating this laptop on Notebook Check came out. So this is an 11-year-old device. Come on.
I just found a picture of a side profile shot from each side. This thing is huge.
Yeah, it was only 15 inches in
Oh,
terms of
man.
screen size, but you got to remember bezels were an inch on either end at that point, and it had a Radeon 7970 mobile, whatever that chip was, or something stupid like that, like just utterly ridiculous specs. And this was before NVIDIA did that whole thing where they made their GPUs efficient enough that they could run full fat desktop chips in mobile computers. So, yeah, I personally don't really get it, but I also understand for people who just want something that's kind of portable. I mean, Jake and I talked about this a while back. We even talked about doing like a build on Linus Tech Tips, doing a video about like the divorced parents PC. And he and I feel like can joke about it. We both come from broken homes. And it was like, okay, what's the justification, right, for a gaming laptop, which can cost, I mean, at times when GPUs are priced in a sane manner, a gaming laptop for the same performance and without the upgradability can cost 50% more easily than an equivalent desktop. Sometimes even more than that if you get like a sleek, slim one or something along those lines. And, you know, it raises the question, well, why would anyone be stupid enough to buy one of these? I mean, what if you move around between your homes a lot because your family is broken? That's a possibility. It's cheaper than having 2 separate gaming rigs at both places.
True. Yeah.
Now, naturally, because it's me and Jake, we weren't really thinking gaming laptop here. We were actually thinking a desktop that
You can like fit in a backpack.
yeah,
kind of
and like a
situation.
monitor that folds down really flat, and the whole thing just goes in your backpack, and you kind of take it to school every other weekend on Fridays. You take it to your other
Oh.
parents' house. Well, look, I'm allowed to joke about it, okay? Because
No, I the O right there was just me thinking damage and theft. taking
oh,
it.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, when you said when damage came out of your mouth, I was gonna be like, I'm not that damaged. I pulled out of it okay. I like to think
That's
I'm
not what I meant.
pretty well
Sorry.
adjusted. So that's something
yeah,
we wanted to do for a long time. That's a justification, though, for
Yeah.
a desktop replacement. You don't want to compromise on performance. Let's say you're not the kind of person to build your own PC or upgrade it. Lots of people. Okay, here, Luke, I want you to get out of your PC enthusiast. I can see you. I can see you retracting into your little PC enthusiast shell here. Okay, Luke, think about
Okay.
it this way.
All right.
To a lot of people, you have a car, right? Do you drive a car?
Yep.
You have a car. I know you have a car. It was a rhetorical question, but thank you. Okay, you have a car. When your car gets to the point where it's like becoming problematic in terms of maintenance, or it is not a pleasing experience, what are you most likely to do? Okay, A, throw it away in the garbage. B, fix it up yourself with parts that you get at Lordco or wherever people get car parts. Or C, trade it in and just get something more hassle-free.
Well, it's just always going to be whatever's the most cost-effective option.
No, it is not. You will not. You will not upgrade your car. Shut up.
Okay, true, but I would go get it fixed. I wouldn't upgrade it though. I would go get it fixed. This is a bit of a issue because you can have an old car that still work, like an old computer isn't gonna be able to run the new games or whatever. So the analogy doesn't like fully work. But you know, my car that like the part of the engine blew up.
Oh, no. The old one, the Pontiac?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I did with that?
What did you do with it?
I brought it to a metal scrapyard
Okay, yes, yes,
because
yes,
no
yes.
one was willing to buy it, and it was just terrible. So it was literally worth more in the like weight of the metal than it was
Okay.
in anything else. And then I got a new car.
So what I'm
But
trying to say is for a lot of people, a computer, whether you like it or not, they're just not enthusiasts. They don't want to learn. It's a metal box. Cables go pluggy pluggy, screen go shiny shiny, and that's it. They don't care. So for someone like that, if you were just going to either buy two computers or you're going to get one portable one, and no
yeah,
matter
and two
what,
computers is nuts.
you weren't gonna
Yeah.
upgrade it anyway.
Okay.
That's my justification for these things to
So
exist.
why wouldn't you get a thinner, more easily portable laptop? Because you're probably quite on the move at that point, and then have a like a dock.
Why don't you get a slower desktop that's smaller and with smaller screens?
I don't want to.
Okay, then.
I wouldn't, if I'm carrying this thing around all the time, especially if I'm carrying it to school, I wouldn't want a big chunker desktop. And you can get quite good CPU performance without a GPU in it on a laptop that is not super thick.
I love it when you are so easy to take down like this. It's the best. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Luke would not, he would not carry around some big chunky thing
Oh,
at
no.
school, okay? This, ladies and gentlemen, is the backpack that Luke actually used actually at school for years, okay?
Oh no. All right.
Here it is on the left, I think it is, next to a normal size backpack. This thing was easily big enough for a 17-inch laptop. It was absolutely massive. Let me see what happens.
A padded slot for one. Yeah.
Yeah, when I put it on. This is the one, right? The Averki Titan.
I can't see your screen. But,
Okay, I'm pretty sure this is it.
Oh yes, I can see it now. Yeah, it's the one on the left. Yeah.
Yep, yeah. This thing
I
is
still have that.
chungus. I know you do, because Luke, you would carry around whatever is the cheapest, most cost-effective thing that gets you exactly the functionality that you want. Look how thick this thing is.
It's awesome. It fits everything. I swear it's magical. Every single time I'm like, it's at 100% capacity. And then someone would be like, this can't fit in my luggage. Can you carry this for me? And it would fit every time.
Braden Hayes says, as an engineer, I carry around a mobile workstation all the time, and I actually prefer it to a thin and light. See? Totally a thing. And you're so full of crap. You would totally carry around whatever gets the job done. And you would harm yourself to do it.
That's also probably true.
You would sacrifice decades of your back's functionality in the interest of having as many FPS as you could have gotten for the dollar. So whatever laptop you got on super promo, that's what you would put in whatever bag fits it.
So my one argument though is that these often aren't super promo. They're often really expensive.
That's true.
And they have a track record for dying really fast.
That's true.
So that's actually my like main concern. The other things I don't like, but yes, I would overcome that for sure. But my cheapness has a big concern with the expensiveness of these laptops, plus the
short warranties.
Short warranties, and I don't know. I don't have like tons of evidence for this, but anecdotal evidence that they just die left and right.
That's been my experience too.
Other things.
Totally been my experience too. The reality of it is, with a desktop, at least if you have a discomfort with super high temperatures, there's always something you can do. It might cost way too much money, or it might be way too janky, or both. But there's always some kind of a solution.
But I will concede, and someone mentioned like, oh, they go on super promo when the new version comes out. Okay, so if we're going to the scenario where you have two homes for whatever reason, or you have like two different places where you need your high performance thing in, whatever that is, maybe you like are going to school to be an engineer and you like study partner at your buddy's house all the time and you need your thing there. I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. I could definitely see it making sense. I just think you're going down so many paths to get there in the first place that I think it should really be for a very small subset of people.
Yep, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, and I think it would have to sit at the spot where, like, if you have to replace this thing every 2 years, that should still be cheaper than the other solution, which is very possible because having like two different systems or whatever else could be very, very expensive.